Hello, everybody, and welcome to What's 3D Printing, our Sunday 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time stream with myself and the James.
That's me.
And today, Felipe is joining us yet again. He was like, "Please let me come back on." I'm like, "Dude, you've already been on twice." And he's like, "Please, I had so much fun. Please let me in." And I'm like, "Dude, that's 3 times now, man. People are gonna think you're a regular." But no, seriously, wanted to bring Felipe back because he's too slow at finishing projects and was not able to get that hot end installed last week. And so we wanted to bring him back in so that he could let everybody know how that went and show some progress to some of the stuff that he has printed. So, James, do you want to do an intro first?
I'm James from Print and Play. Most of you are going to know who I am anyways, because we've been doing this for a while. I'm Print and Play on YouTube. I'm at JC Print and Play on Twitter. Those are pretty much the two places I'm most active. And that's my spiel. I 3D print arcade cabinets and printers mostly.
And of course, I'm Glenn from Fun King 3D. If you haven't figured that out yet, might be written in a place or two around here, and it's also where you're at watching the stream. So
bring this.
And I used to be a father and son channel, but my kids don't like me anymore. Well, but
they got to know you.
Yeah, and I pretty much don't print anything at all. No, that's not true. But I'm actually printing right now the new electronics box for the FK1, and it claims it's going to take 15 hours to print. So
probably 20.
That's what happens when you put so many electronics in a box. And how about you, Felipe? What do you want to tell people?
Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. I've been printing a marble machines for a while, and actually we have a guest on the chat room that I just find out that this little piece here from Thingiverse, it was his creation as well. It's just a little manual thing that you turn, and then the marbles or the metal spheres will go around, and then now he got a new website that's out of marbles that got this fun machine and is motorized, and like I said, there you go.
So cool.
Yeah, of course, I tested 100 times before the show. There you go. Now it's working.
Well, you did jinx yourself by saying it's probably not going to work when we go live.
Yeah.
Have you lost your marbles? Oh,
yep.
There goes one. It's going to hit. I can't tell if it hit the floor. It must have.
So now the coolest part about this machine is if you get tired, they have modules, so you can take the piece out and get another one in. And then if you get tired of that one, that's another one.
That's pretty cool. Now, are they all interchangeable, or are they just modules for one section?
No, the in and out on the 3 sections is the same. So
that's awesome.
You can put them in whatever sequence you think it will fit better.
Too cool.
So I don't know how many months or years that he took to design the jizz, but I think is a very
well,
neat.
He is in the chat, so we can definitely ask him those kind of questions.
Yeah.
And should. In fact, I think we just did. I've just confirmed that I can, in fact, power the orange pie through those pins. So
excellent.
The entire project isn't dead in the water now. I would have found a way. Life finds a way. I just try to make it easy for everybody else that's not as cool as I am, you know?
Well, I spent some time through the week working on the FK1 and any of my Patreons. well, any of my Patreons that read the posts that I make.
I read it. It was the first post you posted since October.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even realize. I was like, did I cancel subscribing to Glenn? And there's like, oh, there's a new notification.
No, it's like anytime that I go to share stuff, I get so excited and I just end up sharing it on Twitter or whatever. And I got to get better about sharing it with my Patreons at least first, just so that they got the inside scoop. And I like to give all the details when I post it to a Patreon. But yeah, I did spend some time through the week. It now has four lead screws on it, which are excessively long. I know you guys can't see them, but they are taller than the ceiling fan. So when I move this thing, I have to be careful or it hits the ceiling fan. But I learned something that, and it took me all the way until last night, but I'm trying to get the lead screws lined up so that they're square to the frame. And typically, if I need to know where something goes, I can go to the CAD drawing and pull a measurement in the CAD drawing, and it'll come out at, well, in this case, the stepper motor mount is supposed to be 22 millimeters from the inside of the linear rail. And so I set it at 22 millimeters, but the lead screw is not level. It's pitched, and I couldn't figure out why. And then last night it dawned on me that the way that these wheels are assembled, they're supposed to be, you get the wheel, you got a bearing on each side of the wheel, and then there's a shim that goes in there, which is a 1 millimeter thick washer, and then the spacer or the eccentric nut, and then through. Well, when I built these, they didn't, this set of wheels didn't have that extra shim, so I just didn't bother putting them in. They work fine without it. But that created a 1 millimeter deviation on each side of the printer. So this crossbar on mine is actually 2 millimeters longer than it is in the CAD drawing, which means that this plate is it's a millimeter further away, which caused the upper mount to be a millimeter off. So now I got to adjust all the bottoms a millimeter out. So
yeah,
long story.
The other Marbles actually reply on the chat. So it took him over a year to do the design.
Year plus. Wow.
And then now here I got the secondary machine, which is the 2 screws. I just got that out of the printer. So just one was printed on the CR10 with the Copperhead, and it is printing nonstop since last week after I got the part missing. But it, I can find a flaw on the piece. You barely can see the layer lines.
Nice.
It's very pretty.
I don't normally sit this close. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you can see me a little closer today. Because usually I'm sitting back behind this other table, but because of the FK1, I moved it, and I'm sitting. What I've just realized, like leaning in to see the detail of the print, that monitor's really dirty. Because normally I'm way back here.
But yeah, so the other Marbles, they have 2 different machines. So they have the big one that is you can put 3 modules, and then they have the smaller one, which I only have one side printed. The other one is being printed right now, and of course it's going to finish after the show. But it will be another table here, and then you can put another module right here, and they will connect just like on that one.
Neat. Well, I did put that information in the description below if you want to tell everybody about it.
Oh yeah, and also Autumn Marbles gave us a 10% discount code. So if anybody interested about purchasing the files, is you can click on the link that is on the description. That is a 10% off. And I think it was a super cool project to do, and the kids loved it. It's something that you just kind of watch for hours, and annoys the wife as well. So I think it's It's a cool project.
Yeah, thinking to myself, I don't really believe I need any more projects that annoy my wife.
So I thought the LEDs I got were 3.3 volt LEDs, and I connected them directly 3.3 volts without the resistor, and they immediately popped. So, whoops, it's okay. I've got 100 red ones, so have to break out ye old resistors.
Well, that's more space.
It is true. I haven't shown anybody. Well, I put it on Patreon. I haven't shown anybody the actual project yet, though. So I guess I'll do that next. How many people do we have in chat today? I'm wondering how much.
There's 19 people currently.
That's it. Joe took everybody else.
Yeah.
It's a rude thing to do.
It really is. I mean, mainly when we stream at the same time every week.
Yeah, it's not like it's guesswork.
It's because it's such a good time slot that
it is. It's the premium time slot. So this week's project so far has been this is the original Nintendo Entertainment System. That's the full size unit right there. So flip open door, audio, video, the usual. So then a few years ago they released this, which is the NES Classic, which is
get one of those and mount it in the car for the kids.
Do you have the actual NES, like this particular one? Or did you get one of the knockoff ones that we were selling?
No, I was gonna get one. I never ended up picking one up.
Oh, gotcha. So then I've been working on the NES like Ultra Mini, which is, significantly smaller than the actual Classic. So this is the project I'm hoping to finish up this week at some point. This is the prototype case. It doesn't have the extra ports and stuff added. It's just got Ethernet and USB on it. And the top of the case is a print-in-place print that has a hinged front door, so you can get to the SD card for the Orange Pi Zero that's in it. So, and then you can see the inside of the shell.
And then to make it fully authentic, when you make that, you can only put one game per SD card.
Yeah, so and you have to blow on it to get it to work. There'll be a little moisture sensor to make sure that you did that. Just a blinking red light. You didn't blow on it enough. The prototype's printed in the Jesse PLA, but it's the old batch stuff that was, I think it was made by IC3D and sold by Printed Solid. So it's because it was what was loaded in my printer at the time.
Oh, none of us have ever been there before.
I'm too lazy to swap it out. Like I like this film and I'd like to save it for a different project maybe, but I'm too lazy to go through the actual swap out process. So
yeah, I don't really want to print this in red, but it's already loaded. So
yeah, like you mess with it, it's gonna end up not sticking or something. Just go with what you got. What's everybody in chat working on right now? All you non-traders that came and saw us instead of going and hanging out with that cool guy, Joe.
Huh?
Don't be telling the people.
I'm not going to get up. Come over
here. Are streaming.
It's like, oh, look, we're down to 16 people. 15. We're in the negative somehow.
Actually, we jumped up to 21. People remembered we were here.
Well, that's good. They remembered you're here. Nobody's here for me.
24/7 Hinky is asking, hi guys, what would be the advantage of using a 32-bit board for a CNC machine, as speed might not count? I don't know if there would be necessarily a benefit for going 32-bit on a CNC.
Yeah, they're so slow to begin with. Like that's part of the it's part of the design limitations.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all dependent on your spindle and your bit and how much you're cutting at a time on how fast you can go. So
and how much you're willing to have your piece accidentally catch on fire.
Yeah, I can't personally think of an advantage for that. I mean, I suppose at some point the firmwares are going to stop supporting 8-bit boards.
That is the logical outcome.
but I think we're still quite a ways off of that. So I hopefully it's still functioning. I got my detail camera fixed up today, so I want to show you guys.
Oh my!
I mean, it is up above the blades.
You cannot use that ceiling fan anymore.
I haven't actually used it. I think I've only ever had it on one time during a stream. It causes like a strobing, like
Yep.
the lighting. So I'd have a tendency to not turn it on.
That makes sense to me.
But I can't use it at all until I move this thing. I can push it out and around the fan, but I don't know. I haven't made a decision. I guess I can let that little bit of the cat out of the bag. I know that was part of the Patreon post, but for those who are shameful and not a Patreon of mine,
Tisk tisk.
for a mere $1, if that's all that you have. No, but so I was putting these lead screws on, and I was actually sitting over here on the floor, and I started to laugh.
What?
And I realized, what's that?
You heard
That's
that?
what I heard.
What?
It sounded like you said something that means pooping. I was sitting over here on the floor, but it did not sound like that's what you said.
No, sit. S-I-T, sit.
Yeah. We know what you were trying to say.
I was sitting.
Yeah, you took a big sit on the floor. That's fine. I get
Right.
it. Yeah.
I took a very relaxing sit.
Good.
But and when I looked up and seen like how tall those were, and the fact that they need flags on them and flashing lights for airplanes, I started to laugh. And Sandra was like, "What?" And I said, "Well, at the point that I'm going to buy 4 1,000 millimeter pieces of V-slot to extend this tall enough to do 1,001% benchy, I could just put 1,000 millimeter long V-slot on there, and it would up my capacity to like." I think I calculated it at like 902 or something, real low 900s. But and then he said to me, "Well, that's not necessary." I said, "Well, I know it's not necessary, but it's possible."
And that's the important part.
Yeah, but I would never be able to get it out of here. It would be like building a boat in a basement.
It is a boat, that is for sure.
I would never be able to make it down the stairs. Even if 2 of us carried it, I wouldn't be able to lift it over the banister because it would be too tall. It would hit the ceiling. And I can't take it down like a refrigerator, which is how I take it down now. I take it down on the hand truck because it just barely made the turn before. So, but yeah, so I do have to cut the lead screws off. Of course, I was always going to cut those 12 millimeter ball screws off too, and I never did. They were sticking up like that much too much for this whole time.
All right, so it seems like the Outer Marble is working on a new mechanism, and is gonna be released in a couple weeks, and seems like it might be for free. So that's gonna be cool.
Hey, everybody likes free stuff.
Yeah.
But now, is it being released for free? I mean, I know that's what he said, but or is it free for somebody who's already bought the other one?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Because he says the new one is very intricate, and then all of a sudden you can give it away for free. You can't give away your intricate stuff. You got to give away the old stuff and sell the new stuff.
Now and then, I mentioned with the guys here in my county, we have a Gwinnett space, a geek space in Gwinnett that they are doing a bunch of face shields, and I'm printing a lot of those things for them. And I mentioned to them that I was doing live stream, and they put on their Facebook group that I'm doing the live stream. So we might get a new couple new people watching.
Well, that'd be all right. Glenn needs all the help he can get.
That's right.
Okay. Bring the bucket.
He says released for free, giving away the brand new intricate stuff. Well, again, for anybody that has just joined us, if you're interested in checking it out, there is a link in the description that will take you to Out of Marbles, as well as get you a 10% discount. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the Thingiverse links to his other stuff in the description. I totally forgot. I'll try to remember to update that at the end, but I'm sure that you can search Thingiverse and hope that you get results, just because Thingiverse is garbage.
Good luck, right?
There's Bennett, 3D Maker Kid. Hello. I'm proud. I was Bennett's first follower on Twitter.
Chad is quiet today. Nobody's raising a ruckus or nothing.
Nah. I want to try to figure out how to get like a camera that I can strap to my head or something. So like when I'm doing stuff like this, people can see what I'm looking at.
I mean, shouldn't be that hard. If you only had some sort of device that you could use for prototyping things rapidly.
Yeah, no, that's not the issue.
Fusing layers of deposited material together. Some sort of FDM technology.
No, what would I use for the camera? Like a GoPro?
Yeah, you could do that. Actually, if you use a GoPro, you don't even need to make anything to attach it to your head. They sell stuff to do that.
Strap on a Raspberry Pi with a camera?
Chris Riley says loud. Am I loud?
Loud. Who's loud? And hello
to you.
Hope you are well, my friend.
You hope Chris is well, the trader?
Yeah, that's right. That guy I hate so much now.
He was just dragging us down anyways. We're going to have all the success now that he's not part of it anymore. What's that? He's got almost 10 times the subscribers of both of us put together.
the questions have slowed way down now. It's only like once a week that somebody asks me what happened. Did you guys have a falling out? Do you not like each other anymore?
Nobody likes Glenn.
Not even myself.
So,
nobody likes me.
I got my my assistant here. He want to show the project that he's.
Oh.
Chris
was responding to me saying it was quiet by saying loud. He was fixing it for us.
Ah.
Oh, okay. We love you again.
What is that?
So I
a folding table. Have you never seen a folding table before?
So I think everybody knows Chaos Cortac.
Garrett is a good guy, and Chelsea is a good girl. Good girl sounds wrong. It sounds
she's a good girl.
Exactly. They're both awesome, is my point. And if you don't believe me, you can fight me. But I will hurdle up because I am not tough.
I've actually never really had the opportunity to sit and chat with either of them. You know, like, I mean, we've greeted one another in passing, but I've never had a chance to actually just like sit and talk with them.
Yeah, I met them last year at Murph. I had a bunch of stuff that I print, and then I was, walking around with a backpack with the pieces on the backpack, and I was chasing down the creators and asking them to sign this stuff for me. And then I pulled them aside between the two buildings over there in Goshen and say, hey, do you mind signing something for me? He kind of looked surprised. I kind of almost put him on the corner. And then when I put the stuff out of the backpack, it was a model that he did. And he's like, oh my God, it's so cool. And he signed it, and then she signed as well. And we still have the piece. Now, this guy here is playing Zelda a lot. And
Zelda. I always forget what the name of the girl is in that.
Because Zelda's the guy that runs around with the sword, right?
Yep.
that's Lynx.
Uh,
Hold on, he want to talk, and oh, he doesn't want to talk anymore. Okay, so
that's too bad.
we working on his the Halloween costume. So we have that thing that if Halloween happens, he's gonna have a costume, and you see, is not even June, and we're already working on it. So he's gonna go get something else. So we're printing a sword,
Looks
the
like
master sword.
3D glue.
Yes, I ran out of it, so I just ordered some more glue this week, and I got the email. And let me tell you, if you never order anything from 3D Glue, you just have to order to see the email that they send it to you, because it's too funny.
Oh yeah. No,
Very funny.
the Andrews have a great sense of humor.
So we got the little tablets there from Zelda,
Nice.
the chic slate, and Daniel painted that with Sharpies.
Oh no!
What happened?
Yeah, no glue yet.
Oh, pirate.
It fell. Could have taken out an eye.
An eye for an eye, or an eye from an eye.
This is definitely the single largest flat print I've ever done. It's not the largest print I've ever done, but the most surface. Yeah, when I first sliced it, it told me it was going to be just under 24 hours. And so I reworked it a little bit and knocked some of the infill down and got it down to claiming 15 hours. So, and of course I didn't like do test segments. I learned from my brother James to throw caution to the wind, and I'm like, I'll just print it.
To be fair, when we had that conversation, I'm going to give context. The conversation was about the fact that I designed my first print in place piece, which is this guy here that has the hinge. And he said, did you do any test prints for tolerances, or did you throw caution to the wind? And I said, I threw caution to the wind because the top of this uses 18 grams of material in 2 hours to print. So cutting out this one section to see if the hinge is going to work doesn't really matter. So when he tells me he's doing a 15-hour print where it's like, hopefully it works.
Let me look to see what it says I'm going to use in filament.
Hey, Paul, I'm good. How are you? I guess what I'm trying to say is Chris Riley and I are in a fight now.
Oh, you and Chris Riley are fighting now?
Yep.
It doesn't tell me how many grams it's using. It says it's going to use 77 meters. I don't really care, though. It's just money.
It's just money until you run out.
Gives me an excuse to order more IC3D PETG. Oh, Tony Ryan is cooking us some burgers.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hello, Paul. Matt Johnson sliding in with all the foreign language. Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bennett said that he's currently printing out the last part for his next video/stream. You're not supposed to print the parts ahead of a stream. You're supposed to print it during the stream.
That is the stream.
Right.
And then the video is you assembling the parts that you printed during the live stream. As a person who often gets more than one subscriber a day, I feel like my advice is very valuable to young just starting YouTubers.
Missing two parts.
Yeah, when people say like, "I want to start a YouTube channel," do you have any
Don't fit on a
recommendations?
camera.
I'm like, yeah, don't do it.
It's a time and money sink.
Because one day you'll run out of content ideas, and then you'll be like, "Oh crap, I don't know what to do."
That's exactly how it's gonna go.
No, I'm not sorry. Xander and I had a couple of good years together where we got
Until
to
he broke
actually
up with you.
hang out and do stuff.
Don't you hate it when your kids break up with you? Wait, that sounds wrong.
Now it's all about video games, man. I'm gonna send him up there to live with you.
In Canada?
Yeah,
I'm from Canada, eh? They
all
think I'm
about-
slow.
it's all about video games. So he'll be the play side of your print and play.
That's great. Can't wait to not be having more than one subscriber a day again.
So I was reading. I mean, I never learned to read, but I was reading last night
Looking at pictures.
on Duet's website about with BIOS 1.4 firmware 1.9 and above, how it does what I want to do with the 4 lead screws. But what I didn't realize is I don't have to have any additional end stops. It will actually use my BL Touch. You give it the coordinates of where the Z screw is in relation to the bed.
Oh, neat.
It will then compensate for the distance, and it'll just probe the 4 corners of the bed and auto level the 4 Zs. Tell me that's not just like incredibly ingenious.
Chris, you are welcome once this pandemic is over to come to Canada. I'll get you Montreal smoked meat. We'll get you a really good poutine. We'll get you some beer that isn't water. If you drink beer. I don't know if you drink beer. And you can fix all my printers so I don't have to do it. Oh, I should have kept that part to myself. Shoot. I'll lock the cats in a separate room too, because I know you're allergic to cats. So we'll lock them in a separate room. You won't even have to know they exist. But yes, Chris, by all means, come to Canada. Hang out. I'll show you all the things there are to see. You can come up for like a week, and then we'll figure out what to do with the other 6 days.
That'll be all.
Chris's deal.
That's all the printer fixing time.
Oh, there we go. It's printing time. It's like the Power Rangers, but with 3D printing stuff. Like filament jam, club nozzle, power reset, out of filament, and then what would be the final one? Bed's not leveled. Go.
Z height.
We'll call it power failures. My hands are frosty.
Print failures.
Yep.
Go printing failures. You bleeping printing failures. First TV show ever made where part of the theme song has to be censored. I'm modeling my USB ports so that I can then model the case around it instead of just trying to like haphazardly make it work.
Oh yeah, I go out and look for CAD models of stuff so that I can design around the CAD model. You just got to be careful when doing that because the person who designed the CAD model might have been an idiot.
That's true. I never click on one that was made by a Glenn with how many ends are in yours?
At least 2.
Let's call it 7.
I mean,
Sean
just
probably
think.
says he needs to get on this. I'll bring my printers and Chris can fix those too.
There we go. You've been looking for an excuse to come visit, right?
It'll be like Canada's first Murph.
Now, how cool is this that growing up with a 3D printer and you can 3D print your own toys?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think back through all the years that I hand fabricated different things and how much easier it would have been if I'd had a 3D printer. Yeah, I'm afraid that I'm going to run into an issue where these Z screws are like over constrained. But I guess we'll find out. I'm thinking I might have to come up with some kind of a mount that'll let it have a little bit of flex without it causing issues. The Canadian Riley Repair Fest.
Inglorious 3D.
If I could roll my R's, that would be perfect, but I can't. So, Paul Cummer wants to know if you can 3D print a girlfriend.
No, you can't.
I've 3D printed some things that I love, but I don't know if it would go as far as a girlfriend.
It's not that into you.
Let me back. Oh. Seems like the older I get, the further away the floor is.
It's the way it works. Two millimeters, and then let's call it. Nobody sees what I'm doing, so I'm just talking to myself. You know what? Sometimes talking to yourself is the only way to get an intelligent conversation.
Oh, it's still off.
That's when I never see Glenn work with a hammer to fix this stuff. So I'm not sure if he's doing it right.
You're supposed to use.
I think I ended up taking all the hammers out from up here. I usually just use the handle of a screwdriver. Well, if there's a what's 3D printing bingo, right about now you'd be getting a square because here comes the second pair of glasses.
Glacius. So I've spent a bunch of time, as I was talking about pre-stream, trying to figure out how I can make the printed printer print better. And I've re-looked at the print that I was complaining about. It's really not that bad. I think I might be chasing too hard to try and fix imperfections that aren't really an issue. You know what I mean? Like, see if that comes across okay. And this is a obviously heightened calibration cube that I printed on the printed printer. And like, if I can get some of the shine there, you can see the layers are pretty even.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad at all.
I think so like part of the issue is that obviously there's changes in the appearance of the shell when there are or aren't features, right? Like the X, the Y print on them actually changes the way the texture, ringing and all that type of stuff. But I don't know. Maybe I'm pushing myself too hard.
You're trying too hard, James.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. So we're going to see our first benchy on the on the FK1 today?
Oh God, no! There's so much still to do. You know, the other thing that I realized this week is, I mean, it was very difficult to run the Z up and down manually before. Now
Yep.
it's going to be like impossible because you have to do a little bit and then run down there and do a little bit and then do a little bit and then do it. But you know, now you're doing two of them,
Put on the front of it.
Yep.
and I can't tie them together. You know, like I can't tie any of them together because that defeats the whole purpose of what I'm doing.
I believe in you, Glenn.
I believe in me too.
You exist. I'm positive. I said that to somebody the other day, and they just didn't know how to respond. I'm like, I believe in you. I'm like, thanks, man. Like, you definitely exist. I believe in you. And then the pause for a second while they realize what I've said. Did anybody watch that Space Force show yet?
I have not.
And I finished it yesterday. Only
No
9
clue.
episodes, and they're like half hour.
What's that?
It's only like 9 episodes, and I think they're half hour each. It was, I enjoyed it. It is very political.
Great.
There are a lot of jabs without saying the name of the current president, or at the current president without saying the name of the current president. But yeah, so that is a thing. But
That disappoints me because I have a tendency to avoid anything and everything that's political at this point.
that's fair too.
Well, coming into the election 4 years ago, I got like really, really, really wrapped up in all of it, and it was causing me mental health issues. And so
I feel like it's hard not to get wrapped up in stuff.
I mean, at this point, like if I'm following somebody on Twitter and they get heavily into posting politics stuff, I mute them or unfollow them.
We do have some friends that are like that.
I just don't want that in my life. You know, I want them to have the right to post whatever they want. That's their prerogative, but I also have the right to not want to read it.
Absolutely. That is why we have the ability to follow and unfollow people as we see fit. This is the Barnacle shirt. Barnacle's released one. Windows 10, we're watching. It says, send all my private information to Microsoft. It's ticked on.
Not only is it ticked on, you can't tick it off.
I thought that would have made it funnier, but I think if it was just like a single option thing where there was no way to turn on or off, it would just look like a toggle button. So I don't know how you'd illustrate that it's always on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to gray out the no thing.
Or put the word yes and yes on both sides. So it makes you feel like you have a choice, but no matter what you do. I'm a funny guy.
Hey, James, do you have one of these?
No, I don't. Is it some sort of master key?
Oh, please.
I don't know what key it is. I'm being serious.
You haven't watched the movie?
Is it from Ready Player One?
Yes.
I'm gonna be so I've watched the movie multiple times and I read the book, and a lot of the stuff that they designed for the movie didn't stick in my brain because I already had my idea from reading the book how they were gonna look. I loved the movie.
Yeah.
That looks good.
We took this one to the movie theater, and so Jiski, we watched the movie with it. So
Oh, neat.
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to get a sequel because they didn't it brought in 560 million in the box office, but it was like a $2 million budget, and they only get to keep half of what comes in the box office, so it didn't really make a ton of money for them. So I don't know if we'll get a sequel. They're doing a sequel book. I know that, Ernest Cline's doing a sequel book.
Yeah, that was I think, sometimes the company gets just too greedy about, just making money, but it was a cool movie.
I thought it was pretty well done. I think the best thing they could have done though is split it up into 3 movies. I think they cut out too much stuff to make it fit, in my opinion.
Scott Hack Monkey is here. Hello, Scott. Sean Butler, I missed that. Sean Butler said about Paul's question about making the girlfriend. He said you can, and if you're good with Arduino, you can make her lifelike, or so I've heard.
Oh my. Yeah, demonetized.
Well, actually, Glenn got a machine working there today.
Really? I didn't realize hell froze over today.
15-hour print, man.
You got to put
Is it printing beside you right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I can just see the filament getting dragged around.
I can hear the printer from here.
It's a print. It's not that loud.
You should get some 2208s in there.
I think it's got 2132s in it. That's the Mark III, isn't it? Or is it the Mark II?
This is a Mark II. It was a Mark IIS that's been upgraded to the 2.5. In fact, it's been upgraded to the 2.5S. Oh, that's pretty darn close. All right, now I got to shift this because I need to work on the other end, and I don't want to be all rude and not be on camera. I don't want you to, miss all of this. I go out around the ceiling fan.
So it doesn't look like I have enough room in this case to have 2 USB ports. Which, to be fair, so the other thing is this case, I didn't start designing it to make a miniature Nintendo that's functional. I designed it because I didn't want my Orange Pi sitting on the table being exposed to the cats. So I was like, well, if I'm going to design a case, I'll design what I'm going to have fun with. And then I did what I always do where I get obsessed with a project and try to make it as cool as possible.
Take things too far.
Take things too far. That's exactly right.
You should change the name of your YouTube channel to I Take Things Too Far.
I think that's a different type of channel, and I don't think I would...
Instead of like I like to make stuff.
I like to ruin things.
I like to take projects too far.
Story of my life.
Well, I should have named mine was I like to over-engineer things.
.com. I'm just looking to see, so I can make it fit if I bend pins. You know what I mean?
Bend the pins on the USB?
On the headers, yes.
But not on the Pi.
Not on the Pi, no.
Well, I think that would be an okay sacrifice.
I don't like to do anything that's difficult for people to recreate.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a little pair of needle nose pliers, that's not a hard project. I mean, at the point that you're building that, you should be able to bend pins.
That's true.
Am I on camera? Okay.
Yeah.
Just the top of my head is anyway.
So you're gonna grow a ponytail now, Glenn?
A ponytail?
It's getting pretty long, but back there.
I was gonna do a mullet, but no. In fact, I almost cut my hair today. Then my beard would have officially been longer than my hair.
So you're still working from home?
What's that?
You're still working from home?
I work from home permanently.
And I will be for the foreseeable future. They're being cautious with me because of Kayleen's condition. Kayleen's got MS, so the medication she's on causes, well, it's an autoimmune disease, so the stuff she's on is designed to be an immunomodifier or whatever, so better safe than sorry.
And for me, they let me work from home because they can't tolerate my attitude in the office.
I'm unsurprised by this. So I guess I could see how easily these will bend. I don't know if I have a pair of pliers that are particularly up to the task. I need to get a nice set of tools, I think. I've got half my tools are like from the dollar store. Well, because what's happened is like we'll be at the dollar store for something and I'll have a project that I'm doing and I'm like, oh, I need a set of these for that. I'm like, oh, if they only last as long as this project, then, you know, it's worth it me not having to make another trip out somewhere today. And then next thing you know, all my tools are from the dollar store.
Yeah, when I was building the house, Priscilla had said to me, you know, like I would say to her, well, I'd really like to buy a whatever, like I'd like to buy a miter saw, and she said to me, whatever tools you need to build the house, go for it. Man, let me tell you what, I found some projects.
Some stuff you definitely needed, right?
Oh yeah, I have tools. There's no question about that.
So the interesting thing that we're going to hit, so I'm able to very easily bend those pins.
Okay.
If I bend them back too far, they're going to touch the grounding plane on the back of the USB port.
Well, that would be all right. Then you just hook all the wires to that, and it saves you from having to wire a bunch of stuff in.
I see this as an absolute win. Okay, well, that's not too bad, I think. Okay, so let's...
24/7 Hinky asked Glenn, does that printer fit through the door?
Sometimes.
And it does currently. I do move it in and out of here for shows, but that was I let my Patreons know, and I told the story a little bit earlier that with these lead screws at 1,000 millimeters right now, that I could change these uprights out to 1,000 millimeter, and I would have like a 900 millimeter tall Z capacity, but I would not be able to get it out. So, but as of right now, it does still fit through the door. Sam Butler says he starts a new position on the 8th and has to go back to work, but his doctor said he shouldn't, but he's got no choice.
That is the state of the world for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Tim Wood said, I have some print issues with PLA, but I think I've narrowed it down to the 34 degrees Celsius room temperature in my shed that the printer was running in.
I don't imagine it would like that very much.
It's interesting how you can keep a kid with attention. You know, they come in and they do what they want to do, and then they disappear. So
It is true. That is what kids do. Woohoo!
I don't know. I have one sitting right there playing video games, and he keeps his volume on his headphones up so loud, and then he gets like so loud. And then I get complaints from all of his friends. Why do you let your kid be so loud? They're like, he's so annoying. We're not going to play with him anymore. And I'm like, listen, I already paid you for this month. Sean Butler says he has a printer issue, but he's narrowed it down to God hates him and doesn't want him printing.
Every time I have a printer issue, I just narrow it down to operators and moron. I've yet to be wrong.
I don't have printer issues.
Well, whoop-de-doo, Basil.
The joke there is because I hardly ever print anymore.
That's true.
Actually, I've printed a lot this week. And then I designed the Acme nut bracket for this, and I actually caught a flaw in it while it was still in the slicer.
That's
so
impressive.
I do the slice, and then I go to the layers, and I run through the layers just to kind of see. And as I was doing it, I said, oh, that's going to be printing in midair. Because every part that I've designed for this, except for, I think, 2 pieces, and I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, do not require supports. And the 2 pieces that require supports have integrated supports built into them that you can break off. So it's kind of a goal to make sure that the parts don't need supports. And this would have been just printing midair. And that's no bueno. Oh. Am I caught up? Am I caught up? Am I caught up? Chat's really slow today. Must be doing something wrong. I need to stop working on the FK1. I started working on the FK1 and suddenly attendance went down.
I think it's me.
It's because I'm working hard and I'm not telling stories. People were really just coming for my lovely stories.
Must be.
And I was talking here, and nobody was, listening because my microphone was muted. And I was like, man, they are real rude. They're not listening.
Yeah, I've been there. Like, my batteries would die in my mic, and I'd be talking to Walter and Chris, and they would just be going on and over talking me and stuff. And like Walter would talk over me. I'm like, dude, that's really rude. I didn't have a mic.
And then you'd find out the truth.
That he was really rude.
Yes.
And that's why we don't do the show anymore.
That's why there's no more fun in the country basement.
That's right.
So I saw this piece here on Thinkiverse, and I was supposed to order the battery holder for the marble machines, but just one you print is like a 20-minute print, and you put those paper clips or whatever they call those things in there.
You make your own battery compartment.
Yes.
Oh, that's the other thing that you had emailed me. I didn't.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Okay, I'm gonna put you up full screen so you can show it.
There you go. So,
what is the? He uses paper clips as the contacts.
yeah, I don't think you call a paper clip, but I'll take one out of here now. And of course, on live video, it never works, right? But is the
Is it a binder clip?
yeah,
Oh yeah. Where it punches through the holes and then
yes.
yeah, I forget what those are actually called. Somebody will know.
So it's just this one is the expensive one to come with paint. So it's just send them off.
Looks like it's corroded.
You got to be able to deal with corrosion.
You know, one of the videos that I watched that they talk about the when they released the first iPhone, it was Steve Jobs has about 8 of them under the podium. So for every part of the presentation, he used a different phone. So it was no issues about changing apps or a phone failing. So each one of those 8 iPhones, they has just one app and one app only. Their only job was working that one app for the presentation.
That's pretty funny.
Classic Steve Jobs.
So there you have it.
Well, yeah, I don't think current Steve Jobs would be able to pull that off.
But it's very easy to solder, and you know, you don't have a battery holder for a project. It was a very nice thing to print, and it works. So I have that's for the second machine, and on the first machine, I let me show that in there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, when Radio Shack was going out of business, I bought a bunch of little battery holders during the clearance because you can just never have enough of those laying around.
I remember back in early 2000 going to Radio Shack, and I was like, wow, it was like a toy store.
Yep. Then they
Oh,
died.
yeah, well, back in the 90s and pre-90s when you could actually go in and buy IC chips and resistors and LEDs, and then eventually it just became a cell phone store.
Yep. And it changed to this Bell Canada bought them here, and it changed the name to the Source, and then it was the Source by Circuit City or something, and then it just became the Source again, and now they're like starting to close up around here. We had one locally, and it was open for like 2 years, and then gone, and that was even before the pandemic stuff kicked in. That was just, yeah. You can buy all that stuff online. Your prices aren't that good. I would go in occasionally because I need an SD card or something like that, and I don't want to wait for the shipping. So, you know.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you needed something quick, there it was.
Yep.
But I mean, with Radio Shack's closing, that's how I got introduced to Arduinos. I mean, I had known about them, but I just never wanted to make the purchase, you know, because they were so expensive. And then they were clearance, and I think I bought them at like 35 or 40% off. And in fact, I have a huge stack of shields. Like I have Ethernet shields and SD card shields and all kinds of stuff for Arduino that I bought super cheap. So Tim Wood said Radio Shack was Tandy here in the UK. Yeah, Tandy was one of their brands here. The Tandy 1000 computer was the first PC clone that I ever got to play on. My neighbor had one, and he used this thing called a modem, and he dialed to another computer. That was awesome. 300 baud.
Oh, 300. Now,
Yep.
Now you're showing your age.
300 baud. Well, the first modem that I ever bought was 2400. So
I think the first one I had was a 1200 baud one that I used to connect to BBSs using an application called Telex.
oh yeah, Telex.
That was it for me. My dad worked for Actually, I won't say because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But they had some old computers that they were retiring. So one of the tech staff from there was like, well, this is on its way to the garbage. So it was an old IBM 3D6. And I think this might have even been after the first Pentium line was introduced. Thing was 40 kilograms. It was like 2.5, 3 feet tall. The tower was this wide, but it was like solid metal. It had a carrying strap, and I think the carrying strap had a symbol on it that said you should do a 2-person carry with it.
2-man lift.
Yeah, and it came with a 12-inch VGA monitor. This old IBM one, it was like this big, and the screen was longer than it was wide.
Nice.
Yeah, it was just heavy duty, and I do mean duty. It was poop. No, it was great. I got my start on that thing.
You said duty.
It's howdy doody time.
All right, so I now think that the lead screws are, if they're not aligned, they're really, really close. And every time that I break out a spirit level with a 3D printer, somebody like has a coronary. But I find that if I level the frame to the earth, it allows me a point of reference for everything else.
It looks crooked from here.
It looks crooked from there? Which way should I move it?
No, at least the 2 lead screws, they're not lining up with the camera, so.
Oh, these ones are crooked?
Yep.
Is that better? How's
there you go. A couple of years ago, I was working with contractor that he used to build cabinets for living, and we installed a 123 screen for the theater, for the project we were working on it. And I knew he was very picky about having that theater screen aligned, and I put that 6-foot level on all 4 pieces of that screen, and that was dead on. There was no way that the contractor was going to walk into that job and say it was crooked, because I was busting the guys working with me to make sure that was perfectly square. And by 4 o'clock, he showed up and he looked at the screen. He's like, "It's crooked," and I was like, "Nope, it's not." And then we got the level and put all the way around the screen, and it was dead on. And he looked at me like something else is wrong, because he had a pretty good eyes. So then we decided to put the level on the floor and on the ceiling, and the floor and the ceiling of the house was not level.
Womp, 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 womp.
How you fix that?
At that
Now
point,
it's going to start over again.
you have to make the screen as crooked as the ceiling so that it looks right.
Now, that's the funny part. That is the homeowner never complained about it, and he already sold the house, and I've been working for him for over 17 years, and he never mentioned anything about that screen being crooked.
Well, because it wasn't.
But it's funny, like sometimes we put the TV above the mantle, and then the customer like, "Oh, that TV is crooked." I was like, "No, the TV is level. The fireplace is crooked." And they get mad when I say, "Well, just call the builder and tell the builder to fix the fireplace." And it's like, "Can you make the TV crooked?" And I just start itching. But yeah.
That's life. That's what
Sometimes,
all the people say.
Yeah, it's funny how the framers don't really care about how much level is level. Glenn,
well,
like,
the thing is wood is pretty forgiving, I mean, and building a house, I mean, if you're off by a little bit, who's ever really going to know? But like, I was crazy about level when building this house, because I knew like I was going to be the one hanging the doors. So I made sure every door opening was perfect. Like, I didn't want to create myself more work down the road.
That's fair.
Because I don't like work.
Who does?
Now, James, you're talking about you got somebody else's drawing for the USB to copy to your model.
Oh no, I didn't. That Glenn was talking about that. I did my own. I made my own. I went through with my calipers, took all the measurements off, and then created a rough model of what the outline of this is and how big the port is and everything that's on it.
Yeah, I go out and actually find a CAD drawing of stuff and download it.
I often do that, but I've hit a couple where, again, like you're saying, the person didn't do a great job for whatever reason, and it causes me more issues than it's worth.
Right. They probably did their best.
Yeah, it's just their best was a miserable failure. That's all. And it potentially ruined my day, which I don't like. I like my days. I like my days unruined. So, the hell with them. And
John Butler says, I think I may give up on multi-instance Octoprint and just buy more pies. That's how I started. I never tried the multi. I just bought. I have a Pi on every printer.
Just use Docker like I did in my tutorial.
Yeah, follow James's tutorial and give that a run and see if it works better for you before you make the investment in more pies. I mean, I'm all in favor of buying more pies. I mean, support the Raspberry Pi Foundation.
Always want more Pi.
Well, I have 4 printers out there. Each one of them got its own Pi. Is that, backup stuff. If one Pi die, one printer's out. If you have 4 printers in one Pi and that Pi goes out.
That's a good way to look at it.
It is.
But I mean, you could have a backup Pi, so you could have 2. And then if the one dies, you could pop the SD card out and stick it in the other one, and then you're back up and running. I mean, then if you only have 2 printers, then you're not saving yourself anything. But who only has 2 printers?
It usually goes 150. Start
What's
with 150.
So, James, when you power up your Pis, do you use its own power supply from the Raspberry Foundation, or do you use something else? You prefer something else?
I mean, they're not always the actual ones from the foundation. I often just use generic ones, but I usually overshoot as well. If I'm ordering a generic one, I get a 3 amp power supply instead of like a 2 or 2.5. That's pretty much it. I've got a couple of systems I've built where they're being powered by a 5-volt 4 amp board, so you have to like wire it all yourself. But that way I can integrate everything and then just have a master power switch.
Because the other day I was seeing a box for the printers, to put the Raspberry Pi with the all the electronics, and they are using a buck converter, like a DC, and taking the 24 volts.
Yeah. Oh, 24. Okay. Yeah.
Out of the power supply from the printer and powering the Raspberry Pi, which will eliminate another thing plugged in on the wall. So.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no reason not to do that. That works out pretty well in the grand scheme of things, as it were. I've seen lots of people that have set that up. The first rep wrap that I did, I ran off an ATX power supply. Actually, the ATX power supply that's running my printed printer, and so I just tied into the 5-volt rail off of that and powered my Pi from that thing. So, and then I just powered it directly through the GPIO.
3D Medic Vince has joined us finally. Hello, Vince.
That Vince, what a troublemaker.
Scott said all his are running on Pi 2s. They'll run off those 8-port Anchor USB power blocks. See, I don't think I have a Pi 2. I think all mine started as Pi 3. Did they go to, was it 3B and then 3B plus, or when it became 3B, was it already 3B plus?
Went 3B, then 3B plus.
All right, so I think I have some 3Bs and some 3B pluses is where my buying was. And I keep meaning to buy a Pi 4 so I can play with it, and then I forget. I guess I don't want to play with it that much.
I think I got my photo on the door of the Micro Center, like, don't let this guy in or something like that. Because, I mean, I was started several years ago when I think it was a Pi Day, and I didn't even know what Pi Day was. And yeah, they're having a sale on the Raspberry Pi. And I was like, oh, $5. Let me get one to try it. Yeah.
5,000 pies later.
Yeah.
But almost.
Yeah, Micro Center has my picture on the door saying, look, if this guy comes in, he's going to harass us about not having stores in Florida. Robbie Mack has joined us.
Robbie Mack's a good guy. Just don't tell him I said so.
Yeah, no, I don't even say it jokingly out loud because he'll hear it.
Gets a big head. Sponsored by BuildTech, not a sponsor.
Hackmo, you said the tiny HDMI on the Pi 4 is a pain. You know, it's funny. I've never plugged anything in. I've never actually used a Pi hook to any type of screen.
We're gonna have to fix that, you and I.
Yeah. So the one I'm not going to use the word that I used with you the other day, but the one that does multiple positions around the house. That one I actually bought to do.
Oh, you mean the overachiever?
Right. It's a scrolling LED matrix for my Christmas light show that I was building, and then realized that you couldn't see it. It wasn't big enough. You couldn't see it well from the road. So I think I'm going to abandon it and go a different direction, which means I have like 8 32 by 64 LED matrices that I'm not using now. I'd do a big like YouTube counter on the wall, but it would be embarrassing.
I need to watch numbers drop.
They're RGB, so like I could have it when it goes up, it's green, and when it goes down, it's red. But it'll just be red all the time.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, I believe the Pi 4 does have two HDMI outs,
I believe that as well.
and it's also USB-C. Which, I mean, at this point, if you're a manufacturer making stuff and you're not using USB-C, you need a beating. I hate micro USB so much.
Tell me how you really feel, though.
It's because my phone, my newest phone is USB-C, and being able to not have to look at it to plug it in is amazing. Yeah, there you go. 2 HDMIs on that thing.
Yep. Somebody asked it, so here you go.
Yeah, plus I need one so I can redesign my Pi case. I mean, it's a no frills Pi case, but it works really well for me. And I released it on Thingiverse. I haven't released the update yet, but I did make one. In fact, I made this one for my Raspberry Pi that I use at work. It's got mounting tabs so I could screw it to the wall in the server room, but it's really dusty. The other one's zip tied to a power cable, and it's working just fine. Vince says he's got 6 Pi 4s. Yeah, they just dropped an 8 gig Pi 4, except for it's $75. It's 64-bit though. And did you guys see that they've dropped the Raspbian name?
Yeah, now it's just
Raspberry Pi
OS. Somebody got upset.
Oh, it's gonna be hard to like get used to not calling it Raspbian anymore. Raspbian.
Raspbian. Who you calling a peon? Bomber?
So the operating system that's based on, the Linux that it's based on, DEB IAN. How do you say that?
Debian?
Debian?
That's what I say.
I've always called it Debian.
The bane of your existence?
Debian. I never paid enough attention to realize it's IAN, not AIN. It's a good thing I don't actually talk to people.
Nobody listened to Glenn. Nothing he says makes sense.
Maybe it's Debian. I don't know. Someone much smarter than me one time said that never judge somebody by the way they pronounce words. It means that they learned by reading and not by hearing.
That's true.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. So I mispronounce things a lot, so I seem like I read more.
That's very smart, Glenn. Oh, Glenn.
Never a dull moment here in the Fun King household.
Sometimes I feel like you need to be careful about how you say the
Hey,
name.
Paul.
Well, when I sent you that message the other day with abso-fun-king-lutely.
I knew what you were saying. I got the cut of your jib immediately.
Yeah,
James,
yeah.
I think Paul Cumber doesn't like James because he said hi to me and to Glenn, but not to James.
No, he's actually flipping James the bird right now. You just can't see it.
Paul Gumber said hi to me earlier and then realized that he never said hi to the B team, so.
Oh.
Everybody sick of that sound yet? Yeah, me neither.
Well, we just signed a contract on a job that I bid like, I don't know, over a year ago.
Is it White Castle?
No, I do have those plans in my hands, though.
Plans in my hands.
I don't think there's enough work there for us, though. I don't think we're going to end up going after it. Because the main thing that we do is concrete block construction, and it's a framed building with some stone on the outside. But regardless of who builds it, I will be eating there.
Their bathrooms will thank you, I'm sure.
And it was very cool to be able to see the plans and. The weather here, Paul, is outside where I don't go, so I don't really know. No, it's rainy and nasty out today. It's not been overly hot, but it's definitely warm. I did leave the house Wednesday. Are you guys proud of me?
Sure, why not?
Zach's award ceremony for school this year, they did it as a drive-through service, which is amazing because usually it's an hour and a half of sitting in the lunchroom on really uncomfortable benches for every kid in the grade. So this time it was just like pull up and got my kid's stuff and away we went. It was awesome. But that was like the first time I've driven in like a month, and I almost forgot how. I started driving on the wrong side of the road thinking I was in the UK.
Oh yeah, so today is the last day of the month, right?
Yes.
All right. So I think when I introduced myself a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about the my heart issue and all that, and so last month I start running again, and I decided to get back on track. So I was just looking at my Strava, is the app that counts my miles and some other things from running, and yesterday I passed over 100 miles for the month of May.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
And now I'm getting to the point they're like, oh, look, it's a race. No, it's not. It's just a virtual challenges.
And all that running, nothing chasing you.
No, not
See, that's
really.
Weird to me.
The thing is chasing me is the high cholesterol, the high blood pressure, and
heart
all
failure.
that.
Yeah, I got you. No,
And
I'm sure someday I'll be sorry that I didn't get out there and do more jogging, but today's not that day.
Not today.
I have another tribe that I socialize with on the computer that doesn't do anything with 3D printing, and those are the runners. And yesterday I saw somebody posting about a 24-hour challenge, and I saw it was a pretty cool picture out of the challenge, and I was like, oh, that's a cool thing. And then I started reading about it, and it was a 24 hours, and you have to run 5 miles every 4 hours. So you go out, run a 5 miles, go rest a little bit, and then go out and run another 5 miles.
I wouldn't be done the first 5 miles in the first 4 hours.
Well, not only that, but it would take me more than 4 hours to get the first 5 miles.
And I was like, you know what? I think I can do it. So if you guys don't see me next week, that means something happened.
You will be avenged.
Because I'm planning on doing that from Friday night to Saturday, the whole day. So,
well, good luck.
Yeah, I'll try.
More than I believe in myself.
And it will be about somewhere between 20 to 30 plus miles. So let's see how much I can accomplish. And just I can't talk. Just not sleeping. That's just taking naps. That might be the biggest issue. But
well, my fingers are crossed for you.
I appreciate.
This may actually be the first print I've ever done that I have to actually use the flex plate to get it off of there.
I always knew you could be flexible if you had to.
Usually the prints just pop off, but this one that's some pretty serious surface area on that.
So when you start the funking, the flex plate, there wasn't an option yet, right?
No. In
So
fact, some of the parts on here, like these two motor mounts, are smooth top from the smooth PEI, and then these ones over here are textured. And because I'm OCD, I will eventually reprint those so that they're also textured.
Just so they match.
Yep.
I don't remember. It's been so long since I fired up a print at this point. I don't remember. Well, actually, it hasn't been that long, but I don't remember what's hosting my, what the IP address is of the system hosting my printers. 528. This one's flown by. So,
oh, yeah.
In terms of changes to the case, I guess I could have put my Fusion view up while I was working on stuff. I added the mounting spots for the power switch and the 2 USB ports to the bottom of the case. And I have other changes to make, but I think I'm going to print it as is and see how things fit together before, like instead of trying to do everything in one shot. Because again, it's not a very long print and it doesn't take a lot of material. So I kind of just want to see where it's at before I try and get the last of it in.
Hello, Michael Cassell. Thank you for joining us. Better late than never.
Depends on the person, actually. I guess I could put the hole for the power jack as well. The power jacks are actually thicker than the casing itself, which is going to pose a problem because they're the kind you have to screw on. Yeah, they have a lock nut. So,
Paul, no, I actually did not get a haircut. It's because my beard is so long that it makes my hair look shorter. But you guys notice it still hasn't grown in. I'm gonna have to shave this off before I go out in public, but Scott says he tries to use static IPs as much as possible and then use a spreadsheet to keep track of it all. That is exactly what I do.
Well, but nowadays without the options on the routers with the reserved IP out of the DNS is way better.
that's how I do it. I do it all by MAC address, and then I've got a big IT spreadsheet that I keep track of where everything is and what what's what and where, and then everybody's got their own range. So like Xander's got a range for his stuff, and if he buys too much stuff, he doesn't get to put it on the network.
So what he really needs to do then is go and buy his own router, connect it up to that, and then have his own separate.
The joke there is that Xander doesn't buy anything.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that's funny. It was about, I think, like 2 weeks ago. I decided to get on the on my configuration of my router and rearrange my pies because they were all over the place. It was like 230, 118, 250, and I was like, no. Now I got a 100, 101, 102, 103.
Yeah, see, like I set the DHCP range, I think it's from 101 to 120. I have a very small DHCP range because almost nothing is DHCP in the house. So, like, if somebody comes to visit and they get on the network, if they get on the Wi-Fi, they go into that little tiny space. And the lease is really short. Michael Cassell said the beard makes me look younger than Walter. I am younger than Walter, darn it. Yeah, and then like I have like the upper range in the 250s. I think it's the 240s and into the 250s is because I know the 250 range isn't very big, but that's like my printers, like regular paper printers, and then my 3D printers. And then my network at work is all in the 10.110 range. And here I'm on the 192.168 range because I connect via VPN. That way I don't have any conflicts that way.
Yeah, but I just need to talk a little more about running. And it seems like I didn't talk enough about it today. So
what's that?
We had to deviate from 3D printing every now and then, right?
Oh, always. God,
so
it says it right in the description that chances are we'll go off the rails.
The thing is, I talk about running 100 miles, but I didn't went out, 100 miles, all out, heartbeat up. So I set up my Garmin to monitor my heartbeat, and they have zones. Like zone 1 is us now, just sitting here and talking, and then the next zone is zone 2, 3, 4, 5, and that goes. So when you're running like somebody's chasing you, you're on zone 5. You're running for your life.
Yeah.
So the zone 2 is a good cardio exercise. So you're pretty much training your heart and your lungs, and not much on your legs. So I spent 2 months, like a little bit of April and now May, just running on zone 2, which it was under 145. So anywhere between 128 to 245, and I maintained on that range for those 2 months without exceeding that number. And you'll be surprised how much faster you get from training your heart on that range. So at the beginning, I was doing, it was taking about 14 to 13 minutes to do each mile, and now I'm doing a mile close to under 10 minutes mile. So it was a very big improvement for not accelerating the heart.
Yeah, see, I only ever run in the level 5.
Somebody's chasing you.
Well, it would have to be something. I generally don't run from people, but I just avoid them altogether. Well, I am well into that 15-hour print. I should take the camera back there and let everybody see it.
How far is well in?
It's about a millimeter thick.
Oh, that's fair. That's a start.
Can you guys see that? Woo! That's a lot of progress right there.
I mean, it ends up being a lot of progress.
Yeah, it will be. It will be when it's done. Yeah, I when I started to lay it out. So I don't know. Like I don't like the one I did because they're in line like this, and I wanted them next to each other so that I could have a shorter ribbon in between them. Whatever. And so when I started laying it all out, and it was fine. It fit. It just fit inside the Prusa bed, and then I put the mounting tabs on it, and then it didn't fit inside the Prusa bed anymore. And I'm like, oh. So then I was thinking about making it where you print the tabs separately and screw them onto the box, and then screw them onto the frame. But I was able to reconfigure it by moving the fans to the outside of the box instead of inside the box. So thinking outside the box, I was able to shrink it enough to get it onto the bed of the Prusa, because that's been the goal through this whole thing, is that you can use a Prusa to build this printer. Well, and a chop saw and a screwdriver, but you'll be able to print all the parts for this off of a Prusa.
Hey, Michael, if you train, you can go. You can do more than faster than a 10-minute mile. It's just put some hours in and be consistent, and you get faster. But Glenn, the other thing you could do is just print the box, and then the other part you just print separately and just glue on it.
Well, and again, when I started this project, Gloop didn't exist. Or I wouldn't have needed a printer this big. I could have printed everything small and glooped it together. Yeah, it's I'm not sorry I did it. It's been a really fun project, and I've learned a ton. And then, like, I went down the rabbit hole last night of reading. I hadn't really looked into the configuration on the Duet since I did it, and a lot has changed. And then on how the whole using the DoX board to set the other steppers, because the Duet itself has 2 extruders, so you can actually use the second extruder as the Z. You can actually use it as whatever you want, but so you can have 2 Z motors, 2 separate Z motors on a regular, like, take for instance the Prusa. You'd be able to wire each Z motor separately, and then it would adjust the gantry based on bed tilt. Now, it wouldn't compensate front to back. It would only compensate side to side. But then by having 3 motors, you'd then need the DoX board, because you'd need another stepper driver. But then it can compensate forward to back as well.
But you're going 4, right?
Well, the reason that I did 4 is because the thing teeters on 1. So by having just the single motor in the middle, it was too, the carriage is so big, it was too wobbly. That's why I went to 4. So, and we'll see if that pays off. I mean, the only thing the worst thing that could happen is it doesn't work, or it bursts into flame and burns my house down. I guess that'd be worse, or it goes under stress and it snaps and shoots out of there and puts my eye out. But I'd then have to rename it to FKI.
Womp, 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 womp.
But, now that's funny. If you go and talk with your insurance agent about that, I was like, will be covered under my insurance? They go ahead and cancel insurance. My life insurance called me. It was time to renew, and then they asked a couple questions about my medical history in the past 5 years. I was like, oh yeah, I have an ICD now. And it's like, oh, okay, we'll send you a letter later. And then later we got a letter that they canceled my life insurance.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm more safe because now I have a backup plan,
you
got
a better backup.
Heart, they'll get shocked.
I just, I won't say that my insurance company has never done anything good for me, but I just have nothing nice to say about insurance companies as a whole. I mean, I'm thankful to have insurance from, I mean, when Grisilla had that kidney stone taken out, that was $205,000 that I think we only paid $4,000 of that.
That's nice.
I see that I have a little bit of belt dust laying all over up here. Wonder if that belt's wearing.
You never used it.
What, the printer?
I know.
I've printed a ton of stuff on this thing.
I seen it working.
I
Probably was last time you print stuff. It was in Orlando, right?
Yeah, back in November at Orlando Maker Fair. Because it was still in the crate until just recently when I brought it up to start working on it again. It was still in the crate in the garage. So, and it's really dusty, and I don't know if that was from it sitting in the crate in the garage, but like the rails and stuff have dust all down in them, so I gotta Swiffer it. Sean said the belt's dry rotting. Thanks, Sean.
Dry rotting.
Tom Lama is here. Yeah, again, I still got to double check, but I think my calculations are right on that, James. I think that I can squeeze a 1001 out of this without making it any taller.
That'd be awesome.
But until I put the bed back on and run it,
you don't know for sure.
Yeah, I want to physically, so like I can take all the calculations, but until I physically see that nozzle, because I'm off by 5.5 millimeters.
Right.
So, which, you know, the thickness of my maker coin, plus any clearance that it's got to have to get the nozzle up away from it and over. But it's just that smokestack. That would be the only thing sticking up. But so I don't want to.
So it's not going to create a lot of issues, is what you're hoping.
Right. There's nothing like there's no strike points in the middle here. So if the motor is up, it's not going to run into anything. What I got to worry about is it crushing this wiring harness, and the motor will hit this back bar back here. So, which is why it has its danger zone.
Hulk King smash.
So, but if I have to lie to the Duet and tell it that it has a 482 millimeter height, if it can travel to that physically, then
so be it.
Yeah.
Make it so and all of that.
Yeah, even if I have to take this cable chain off and just lay the harness up there, because then it'll go up higher. I can't see buying $60 worth of linear rail to gain 5.5 millimeters. I mean, I wouldn't. I'd add 100, I think, is what I can get away with before I can't get it out of the house anymore. But it just seems like not a good investment to spend that for 5 millimeters.
I agree. Because like even if you're adding more, really your only goal is that.
Right. Yeah, I don't need it to be this tall, but this height was picked. I don't remember why. I picked this height. Oh, it was based on getting 2 uprights out of a 1500 millimeter piece. Having the kerf of the blade, losing the little bit of blade, and cutting each end off to make it perfectly square. That's what I could get out of it safely, and get 2 of these out of a 1500 millimeter bar. New name, Fuzzy Face King. What? Joel is streaming in my time slot too? Man, I gotta send that guy a strongly worded email.
I would. If I was you. I'm not going to do it myself.
I don't have notification, which doesn't mean anything, but
No, if you don't have notifications, he definitely cannot print.
YouTube isn't always perfect.
Okay, well, let's start this print off, I guess. We'll see how it goes.
You done with all the CAD?
Yeah, I keep adding more and more to it. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm at the point now. So one of the things I had to do so I can have audio video is I bought some headphone headers. So like the 8-inch jack. I couldn't get the TSSR ones, the one where it has AV. So it's going to have mono audio plus video. And the thing is, all these components, which are super small and, you know, don't take up a lot of space when you're dealing with a case that's this big, right? So like I've literally in the CAD thing, I've designed it so this part's going to be sort of mounted in here. And then I need to add support behind it because it needs to be able to take the fact that you're plugging a cable in and out of it.
Right.
And the only way to put this in is that it's going to cover up some of these grids. So now a few of the grids are going to be just for or like the grill rather. So part of it's going to be just for show. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the point where I can sort of like wedge it in there because I need to leave support behind it. You get what I'm saying, I'm sure. So, and then of course, like I was saying with the power jack itself is actually thicker than the casing. So 80% of it ends in one half and then you have to screw it. And then I need to allow tolerances so that this can fit in between because it's going to, you know, it's going to be a whole thing. So if this video doesn't do well, I'm probably just going to uninstall YouTube.
Which, you know, like if it wasn't for the fact that the case is 2 different colors, you could have just moved the split line. But
yeah, exactly. But because it is light gray and dark green, I'm trying to keep it as. So like for this case, I started off by taking the actual measurements of the original NES, and then I measured the board and then figured out sort of relatively how much I could shrink it down and still fit the board in it. So dimensionally, it's accurate. It's a scaled model. And I went as far as to count the number of grill lines on the original one and recreate them, which they didn't do on the NES Classic. They just put in like 11 versus 21 because, you know, that makes sense to not have to make this all super nuts, but not me. Oh, now I'm coughing. That's good.
Oh, Robbie Mac, you're so sweet. Here, Tom Llama throws out, lost the Chris Riley, so lost the power on YouTube time slot. But then we have Robbie Mac making up for it, saying that's why we have you guys, to make YouTube perfect.
I'm blowing kisses.
Polymate 3D is in the house.
How's it going, Paul?
That blocked that comment, Paul. Got to get those slits the right amount, and it blocked it. Apparently, it didn't like the word slit.
Well, you know.
That's pretty funny.
I'm amused. Do I not look amused?
So, do you guys know why Slice Engineer doesn't like socks?
No? Is this going to be a joke, or are you asking a serious
No,
question?
We're in Florida and it's hot here. Maybe they were.
It is.
After I said, I was like, yeah, it's a good, you know, joke, but no, it's not. It's just the only thing is different on the printer that I have there, that the Copperhead is no socks, and then I look around their website and is no option for. So
I think it's because they believe in all natural hot ends. They don't put silicone enhancement on it.
But I have in the past so many bad prints that they you know, bad print just ate the nozzle. That is a lot easier to take it off if you have the sock on it, because and it's a lot easier to clean too when something goes wrong. So
I don't know. It's a good question and one that we can definitely ask them.
Next time they're on the show, which is never, because we don't matter. because Joel Telling and Joe 3D Maker Noob both
Is Joel streaming?
What?
Is Joel streaming?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you said somebody said
yeah,
Joel.
it's the noob.
No, it's just the noob.
Just the noob.
And he got the printer. that's not printing, and he's trying to fix it on live. So
Oh, Creality.
yeah.
Snap back at Creality. Oh. And your copyright claimed. Okay. So things I added. I added the mounts for the USB ports, the mount for the power switch, the mount for the power on the back of it. I haven't put a mount in for the reset button. I haven't actually decided if I'm going to put a functioning reset button on it or not, because all the reset button is actually going to do is like toggle the power. So it seems redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see if all this stuff fits together and it doesn't catch on fire.
Oh, and apparently Warkaki is streaming over us as well. I don't care.
I love it.
It's my time slot, and I will continue to use it.
Hey, our time slot, buddy.
Well, I'm just a regular cast, so I'm not going to say anything about that.
Yeah, careful. This might be your last time.
Yeah, you get mouthy. We won't have you back anymore. Well, 9 minutes from now, then it won't matter. Hey, Xander, are you streaming tonight? So Xander will be streaming today at, 6:30? And that's youtube.com/peglegpaul. Or some people incorrectly call him Peggle Paul.
I used to watch him, but it was all because of the Thursday thing. Now he doesn't do the Thursday thing anymore, so I don't even go to the other videos to put a like on it because it's no Thursday thing. So
Yeah, it makes him mad because his video will post and it'll come up on my phone and I'll look down and I'll swipe and he's like, hey! I'm like, I can't watch you playing Minecraft for 30 minutes, man.
That's why I just turned off notifications from him.
Now he's crying himself to sleep on his huge pillow. He is going to be doing a 250 subscriber giveaway, though.
Can I have whatever he's giving away?
If you win.
Can I win? I'm not joining unless I know I'm going to win.
who is it sponsoring? The Fun King?
Yeah, it's being sponsored by Fun King 3D. We will be giving away these Sadie's headphones.
Are those the ones that light up?
I think so.
I think I already own that set. They light up blue.
They're stereo compatible, 50 millimeter speaker. You can play music on them.
Oh, that's...
They have a soft ear pad, which is good compared to a hard ear pad.
Yep.
They have deep bass, 2-meter cable. Yeah, it's got a USB plug, so they light up.
Does it have a 1/8-inch jack and a USB port?
Yep.
Okay, so I think it is the same set. And I bought them specifically because I thought they were both USB and 1/8-inch.
Oh yeah, no, the USB is just for the light.
For the power for the light up. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I like though here on the back it says all the human engineering design multi-point corrosion head beam through global.
Oh, corrodes in multi-points. That's good. You need uniform corrosion.
All the human engineering design multi-point corrosion head beam through global is exactly what it says.
Oh.
And it has a rotary microphone.
Oh, good. It matches my rotary phone.
How did he come up with that name? It actually, can I tell that story? Do you care?
What story?
About how you came up with Peg Leg Paul? Xander and I, we used to play a game on our phones called Plunder Pirates, and I still play it. He doesn't really play it anymore. But
was it because you're so much better at than he was?
No, it's because he doesn't follow through with anything.
Oh, that's fair.
One
day he's gonna propose to a woman and then leave her at the altar.
Oh, I don't even think he'll be like, will you? And then he'll be like, oh, squirrel. But he wanted a piratey name, and we were just like kicking stuff around. Yeah, we were going to just call him Peg Leg, but that was taken. So then I'm like, well, how about Peg Leg Paul? Oh, I don't know. He's over there correcting me, but I'm telling the story, so I get to tell it however I wanted. He was like, I want to be known as Fish Bait, and I'm like, that's a stupid name. Peg Leg Paul's much better. And then he's like, okay, see, if I tell the story, I can tell however I want.
And then he was like, okay, Dad, you're so much smarter than me. Oh my God, I would have made terrible decisions.
Yeah, exactly. So then, so that's where it started, was just on Plunder Pirates, and then so he just started using it as a gamer tag, and when he decided to start the YouTube channel, he had already used that gamer tag so much that it just stuck. So, and of course, the plan was that nobody would know that it was Xander. Like, we weren't going to use his name, but in the process of promoting him, it's kind of hard for people to not know it's Xander.
You mistyped his URL. You know that, right?
Did I?
You wrote
Oh, yeah. Oh, please tell me that doesn't go to something bad.
No, it doesn't. I checked.
That's what I get for typing and talking at the same time. At least I didn't type a wrong tube.
Oh gosh. Autofill from your history, I guess.
Hey, maybe I got it right that time.
I'm waiting for it to pop up. I'm only yeah, that looks right. He's not even at 250 subscribers yet, though.
No.
He's at 190.
Yeah, well, we're not giving it away till he hits 250.
What do you say?
191, dang it.
You should probably double check.
No, you should probably double check. Oh,
I don't know if you heard that, but he's like, no, you should double check. Oh, dang it.
Okay, look, he's at 191 again. That's crazy. It's like somebody's got their finger on the button, you know?
It's like somebody's subscribing and unsubscribing.
It's like somebody's making the best decision of their day and then the worst one. You can decide which order that's in, though. Miss you, Xander.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Felipe, when you printed that sword for your boy, you couldn't have printed it with an actual tip. You had to print it bent like that. I thought it was on, like, I thought he had stacked it on that piece. The way that he had it. And
he was like, Dad, how am I supposed to put the first piece in? I was like, you just put on this side. So
there you go. It's for when you want to stab somebody, but with a baseball swing.
well, it was from sticking it in that stone.
Get bent.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you too, Paul. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you, Paul.
Woo,
So, are we gonna do a unsubscribe to that Peg Leg Paul today? Is that the goal?
Just
no,
like,
when he hits 250. When it's 250 and we don't win the draw, then you unsubscribe and knock him back down to 200 and then back up to 250. So he has to do another one.
like somebody who went over 5,000 and did a huge 5,000 subscriber giveaway. And then everybody that didn't win unsubbed, and now I haven't been back over at 5,000.
You dropped down as low as what, like 4,200, then started making your way back up?
Yeah. Yeah.
It happened to me in the same percentages, but not the same number after you did the subscribe to James giveaway.
Yeah.
I got up to, I woke up, but I went to bed at like 250 and woke up to like 850 or 650 or something like that. It was like something's broken.
The best though was Thomas from Arduino Makes, because when I did that, I didn't tell him, and then I did that, and he was out of town that weekend, and so I tried to contact him that next morning, and I couldn't get hold of him, and I'm like, uh-oh, like this, and he said, I knew something was up. I kept getting all these notifications.
Do you remember him doing a stream afterwards and talking about like, oh, I'm probably going to lose some of my subscribers after the draw's over, but I don't care because look at how many subscribers I have now?
Well, I wrote to him and I said to him, I said, hey, I just want you to know that you're going to get this huge influx of people, but you're also going to lose a whole bunch of them because people will subscribe only for the contest. And he said, I don't care. Look how many I have now.
Do you remember the day he was subscribing, and I'm like, look at this kid getting an early start. Like he's gonna be bigger than Joel Telling one day, and he raised it. He's like, yeah, I am gonna be bigger than Joel Telling.
Yeah, he posted to Twitter today. Thomas did. That's the first time I've seen him in a long time. So
I put out 2 videos in the month of May. That never happens.
you did?
Yeah,
Wow.
and they've both got hundreds of views on them.
Wow.
So I guess I just have to continue doing that content, which is the least fun but most informative. It was 2 tutorials.
Yeah, I'm just completely out of ideas.
Shouldn't you just be stealing mine before I have them?
Probably. Can
Well,
you start emailing me your ideas before you make the videos?
Just so I can make like spelling checks for you.
In fact, can you just make the videos and then send them to me and let me post them?
Just put your face over mine. Did you ever see the movie Grandma's Boy?
I don't think so.
It's about this. I won't add the additional description, but he's a game tester. He's like in his 30s, and he ends up like getting kicked out of the house he's living in. He ends up going to live with his grandma and her 2 roommates who are also like grandma's age. And there's this guy in the movie that's like the game developer, but he's like the prodigal son game developer. So he dresses like Neo from the Matrix, and he's super awkward. And when he gets super uncomfortable, he starts talking in a robot voice. There's a part where he's like, adios, turd nuggets, and he flips up the birds, then turns around, goes like this, and goes, and walks like a. And anyways, there's a part where, well, you know what? I was gonna continue describing a scene, but I feel like it's the kind of movie you would enjoy watching, and I don't want to ruin. I was talking about something that's towards the end, so. Sorry, I'm going to cut this story short by not ruining.
Yeah, everybody now has to go out and watch it.
It's not appropriate for kids. Well, it's not terrible for kids, but I would say watch it beforehand because what they show their kids is different, right?
I seem to have misplaced my Chris Riley pen. That's disturbing. What's it called?
Grandma's Boy. It's a movie. It was made during the original Xbox era.
Okay.
And actually, I just thought about it. It is definitely not appropriate for kids, and there's no way you would let your kids watch it.
Is that on Netflix or Amazon, or we got to find somewhere else?
I actually haven't checked. I own a copy of it, so I bought it back in the day. But I'm sure it's somewhere. I'll just do a quick Google search, and then we'll wrap things up. YouTube has it for $5 for rents. Amazon might have it. Yeah, it says it's on Prime Video, it looks like. So yeah, take a look. But yes,
Grandma Boy is from 2006. Is that right?
That sounds about right. It's got the mother from like the grandmother from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh,
I think she's passed now, but she's funny. But yes, very inappropriate for kids. A lot of adult situations. Possible substance abuse. Well, we are 6:03, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh, I crossed 2,800 subscribers this week.
congratulations.
My goal is 5,000 by the end of the year, so it's pretty much completely out of reach now.
By the end of last year or by the end of 2020?
By the end of 2020, but like I'm gaining on average like maybe 50 a month.
Yeah, but that can come and go at any time.
I know.
So
I'm just not that interesting. Know your limit. Play within it.
Scott, are you asking about the movie? It's called Grandma's Boy. Everybody has to go watch it this week.
Everybody over the age of 18. I'm not encouraging any young children to go and.
Please use my affiliate link. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to get yelled at by any parents.
Everybody go watch it this week so we can discuss it on next week's show. Yeah, and James, go ahead and set up that other special guest whenever it's convenient for him.
Yeah, he hasn't confirmed or denied yet. That was just the initial conversation. I wanted to make sure it was cool with you. But
Yeah. Well, we won't say anything until it's rock solid.
I have one other person that might be interested as well that I'll reach out to you outside of here and we'll discuss.
Okay. Well, I mean, that one's a big one.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, and he's awesome. I really enjoyed talking to him the time that I got to. So, but all right. So, anybody got an outro they want to do?
I'm James. Bye, everybody.
Sean Butler wants to know when it is his guest slot. Listen, anybody wants to be a guest on here? I was going to set up a form. I haven't done it yet. You can email me, Glenn with 2 N's, GLENN, at funking3d.com. Email is going to be the best way for me to keep track of that. And then after I vet you and we decide if you're worthy of being on the show, we'll work you in. So, but if you get denied, if I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know, or if I give you some weird excuse, don't take it the wrong way. How about you, Felipe? You got anything?
Now I will be gluing that sword some point this week.
Gluing? Glooping?
Glooping, yeah, I'll be glooping. It's funny. The email I got from them is somewhere out there, and we don't know when you're gonna get it, but you get it.
Yeah, I got parts sitting on top of this, but you got to get the 55-gallon drum of glue.
Holy! That'll be cool if I can just open up my over here and you just kind of pour it from there, right there.
Well, I have.
Don't try to do anything.
Hey, Glenn, can you pour something for me?
Yeah, here.
Kay and I have been watching. I think that the channel's called Bon Appetit. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's Mythical Kitchen, and they keep doing these things. They've got 3 chefs that are in 3 different locations, but like all of a sudden, be like, okay, let's play ping pong, and it's literally just cutting back and forth, and like the one guy's in the middle, so he's like watches the ball, it comes in like this, and he watches it, goes over, and then it cuts to the next person, goes back across. They've done such a good job with it though, because they keep having these different, like, he's like, hey, do you have any eggs? She's like, yeah, here you go. Throws one, and he's like, oh, thanks. Catches it out of the air. And then they have this one guy. He's like, oh, here, I've got one for you too. Throws it, and it just smashes against the wall. He goes, I don't know why that didn't work.
That's what happens when you actually have like a production crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walter and Chris and I always joked around about doing that, like somebody going, hey, you got any zip ties? And having one of us hand zip ties or whatever. But
I can honestly say that every single one of my videos so far has been directed by James Cameron.
True.
And edited by James Cameron. And written by James Cameron.
Yep. And acted by?
Yeah, special appearances by James Cameron.
Scott said, holy cow, that stuff dries up way too fast for me to get that big a bottle. I haven't had that issue. This was the first. This was the first one that dried up on me. And
I had that happen too. Mine dried up when I was at Christmas.
You probably won't be able to see. Maybe you can. It looks like a Alka-Seltzer in there. But there was only like maybe a 1/4 inch left in the bottom. So
mine dried up at Christmas because I was gluing all those Lego guys together. And I guess just unsealing and resealing the thing over and over again, it just... Well,
and then like you got to keep this seal right here clean and keep the top of the, like when you're wiping the brush, don't wipe it all over. Like wipe it on that edge down inside the bottle, and that'll help keep the mouth of the bottle clean. And then wipe it before you put the top back on. That helps it tremendously. And then if you get the new brush, the new cap, the seal, look at the seal inside of that. It's like super, super nice. So
yeah, that's what they said in Orlando when we talked with them. There was going to be that new design,
right? Well, they sent that to me with my. Full disclosure, that can of gloop is not actually that big. It's only big enough for this brush. There's a dead space inside that printed barrel, but
Oh, Kayleen just went outside, and I don't know why.
Oh no.
I can hear the sliding door open. It goes, I bought a new pool ladder. We wanted to get something a little more heavy duty than it came with one of those like thin metal bar ones with the plastic legs attached to it. So we order one, and their big thing was works for any above ground pool. Okay, cool. Shows up. It was like $300. So I put it together. I get to the final step, and I discover two things. One, instead of 2 left legs and 2 right legs, they've sent us 1 left leg and 3 right legs, which are labeled with an R. So it's not even like, oh, I did something backwards. They're actually labeled. And that's important because the final step to hold the legs together is you have to stick. There's an extra foot that comes because it's one of the ones where the ladder itself can like rotate up and lock so that
For
people
safety, right?
Yeah. So the outside frame of that has to lock together by you putting this foot in between them because the locking mechanisms are now on the opposite side. It doesn't work. And number 2, the final page of the instruction says, no, this ladder must be attached to the top of your swimming pool. Only works with hard shelled above ground pools. So I've got this thing attached, and I don't have a hard shell above ground pool. I have a metal framed one, but the side is soft, and there's no platform on the top to attach it to. So he's like, okay, well, should we take it apart and return it? So I check. It's like, you're responsible for the payment for any of the shipping costs. The shipping cost to return it's going to be a third of the cost of the ladder.
Yeah, I think I would fight him. I think I'd fight him on that pretty hard.
Well, so I've contacted them to see if I can get the extra part sent, because just send me the leg and I'll finish putting it together. Because worst comes to worst, if I'm going to lose money on it anyways, I'll just turn around and sell it locally to somebody at like maybe a small knockdown or whatever. Like, here's a ladder fully assembled, never seen water.
Is the purpose of securing it so that it doesn't tip over when you're on the top of it?
Probably.
Because I mean, you could just tether it. You could tether it to the ground somehow.
My current plan is because there's also a kick bar that goes down that's supposed to press against the side of the pool. So my current plan is, since I've got these metal poles, I'm going to 3D print pieces that snap onto them and then just cut a piece of plywood on one section and create one area where it's hard shelled and hard top and bolt it to that.
Yeah.
And then I'll just put clamping mechanisms in behind or whatever, I think, if I can make that work.
Just run screws right into the pool. It'll be all right.
Yeah, it's fine. Constantly top it up. But the good news is my 3D printed flange clamps have been on it for over a week now. The pool and it's now crystal clear. The day after it was warm enough to swim in, and now it's dropped down to like 62 degrees. So
don't be a sissy. Get in there.
I've been swimming in water that still had ice in it because, like, my parents' house was here, my grandmother's house was here down the street, and there's a hill that connects them, and then behind my grandmother's house there's a continued hill that goes to a lake. And I was playing basketball, and the person I was playing with missed the ball, and it caught traction, went right down the thing, and there was just enough gap between the houses that it went straight down in between them and into the water. And then I'm like, okay, well, the water should push it back in. No, it just continually went out. So I swam out over my head when there was still ice. I'm pushing the ice and stuff out of the way.
Oh my gosh.
My neighbor's laughing because I was wearing jeans. So I took the jeans off and just went out in my underwear because I don't want to get out there and get weighed down by the fact that I've got, 10 pounds or 5 pounds worth of jeans that are now 50 pounds because they've absorbed water. My mom looks out the window. She's like, what the heck? She didn't say heck. What the heck's the matter with me? I'm walking around in my freaking tighty whities, like 12 years old. I'm like, well, I had to go get my basketball. I still own that basketball. Maybe not. I think she just threw it out.
Just now.
She's like, oh, I didn't know there's a story behind it. Okay,
right,
guys.
well, we got to get rolling because Xander's going to be streaming, and I don't want to crunch into his time.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the same room as him when he's streaming either.
So, yeah. No, he gets really loud.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up to this week's stream. We appreciate you guys being here. We love the conversation. Love interacting. I think from now on, even when I'm working on a project, I'm going to do this where I take at least the last 30 minutes and just kind of hang out and do nothing but chit chat so that I can pay more attention to the chat because it's
plus then you can stretch out the progress on the FK1 for more streams.
Right, exactly. Well, I could if I quit working on it during the week too. But so at some point, I do have 2 MakerBox videos to film, which we have not gotten done yet because whatever. And other than that, I don't really know what's going on. But maybe an impromptu stream somewhere through the week working on this thing. But that's all I got for now. Again, there is a link in the description below. I say that's all I got for now, and then I continue. There is a link in the description below to get 10% off at, what's it called, Felipe?
Out of marbles.
Out of marbles. I was going to say lost my marbles. Out of marbles. If you
That's
follow
it.
that link, it'll take you, give you the coupon code, and then there's a button to continue on to the website. You can get 10% off on the models. They're very, very cool. I think that is it. So thank you guys. And until next week or somewhere in between, as always,
Print on.
on.